got a big goddamn problem with the news. You ready for this? The news is completely manipulated. Everything you hear every single day is designed by corporate media to do one thing and one thing only.
Jesus.
To keep you living in fear.
Oh, fear?
Total fear. Fear so you'll go out and you'll spend money on things. Things you probably don't even need. Things you probably already have six of, so that their advertisers will keep buying ads on their stations. I'll tell you one more thing. You ready for this? I'll do this all day, man.
They really want to heal and love humanity, and they're very sad that people don't listen to them, and people are not receptive to their wisdom. They want so much to teach and heal, and it's to the point where they can't not teach. A wise one can't just pretend and be like, yeah, let's hang out and have a beer or something like that. They have to go deep. They have to be at the level of soul. That's just their nature. Wise ones yearn for very deep, magical, deeply feeling soulmate relationships with their beloved. This is a very deep yearning in their heart. And until this comes, they can either end up staying alone or they may be in unhappy relationships. But they always hold that vision and that feeling, that yearning for that deep, magical soulmate connection that's a very spiritual, beautiful bond. In this lifetime, wise ones do better as teachers, astrologers, shamans, and being their own bosses, because they're obviously wise and they know a lot of things and they want to help and teach others. They may fear abandonment as well, going back to the psychological issues. So it's really hard for them to state their needs, and they need to speak up and learn to think for themselves and be a little bit selfish, because it's not good to only be giving to others. You become very drained. So they have to really learn to think of themselves and be more centered in the self, in the higher self. The other important factor here, which kind of connects with the martial arts, is the need for daily exercise. This is really key. I can't even imagine going a day without exercise. I love working out. And yoga is really wonderful because it works in the meridians, the energy systems in the body, clearing the energy. Tai Chi. I personally like vigorous exercises like, Pilates, martial arts, belly dancing. But the main thing is to really sweat and to breathe deeply. Because angels speak to us, and when I don't mean earth angels, I mean angels from higher realms. Angels and the divine speak to us on the molecules of oxygen. So we can get messages more easily from our angels, from our divine, if we're breathing deeply, if we're exercising and doing yoga, of course. They possess deep wisdom, and they're very highly intuitive from lifetimes of deep spiritual work and connection to other worlds and to Mother Nature. They can read through people and into people. They can see into people and penetrate them with their deep knowing. They see the truth and they just know things. They're humans who learn in past lives how to heal and how to manifest with various different powers. They are the magicians of yore, from civilizations such as Atlantis, ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, Lemuria, the Mayans, Essenes, and so on. Wise ones have a very deep sorrow in their eyes at times because they've witnessed so many lifetimes of civilizations being destroyed, so much suffering, and the inability of humans to learn. Many of them were burnt at the stake in past lives, labeled as witches, who were really just females with deep intuitive knowledge and herbal healing abilities. They remembered being afraid of the Inquisition, the Knights Templar, the Cathar trials. As a matter of fact, many of them in this lifetime here on Earth are afraid to share their knowledge because they were persecuted through so many lifetimes. Sometimes wise ones can have a heavier, more somber energy and be very serious. They often give advice, and they can be accused of being know-it-alls because, well, they do know it all. They know a lot. They feel things very deeply in a way that humans think is just like, why are you a know-it-all? Why are you telling me what to do? So what they really want is they want to help others, and they want to share their deep knowledge and wisdom. They're just here to help others and heal others and keep others from suffering, in a sense. They don't really like superficial conversations, and they'd rather teach and speak of deep, soulful knowledge. They're generally here on Earth continuing their studies of astrology, hermetics, goddess culture, crystal healing, herbology, shamanism, energy healing, and all of the ancient sacred cultures that came before. Wise ones have a special bond with the elemental realms, who they often work with and befriend. They often end up in relationships, romantic relationships with elementals, because elementals are far more fun and playful, whereas the wise ones can be very heavy and somber and very serious. Humans used to live with these beings on Earth until human consciousness became so dense and so gross, so materialized, it came down so much in the lower chakras that humans could no longer see these beings. We used to all live together and we used to all have our inner vision open. Sometimes these gods and goddesses are referred to as fairy with an E, whereas the nature fairies are referred to as fairies with an I, the elementals. So the Celtics held this incredible deep sacred knowledge and connection with these gods and goddesses for much longer than other cultures, because they were not as affected by the Christian conquest. It was, of course, the church that indoctrinated people against knowledge of these realms and these people. The Norse say that elves of light were a special kind of elves that were very tall, very light, pale and beautiful, with faces like children, and they loved the light and they were very kind. Elves are said to have large expressive eyes with fragile, graceful features and pointy ears and nose, high cheekbones, and extraordinary beauty. They often devote themselves to art and music because they're very refined, they're very connected to the higher chakras, whereas elementals may be a little more naughty and in the lower chakras. We'll talk about that in the next video. Elves are said to play enchanting music that you can hear at night in the woods. They are much stronger than humans in spirit and in limbs, and they grow wiser and fairer as they grow older.